You know what? 2018 was a pretty bad year. There was the terrible YouTube video on 2018. There are the death of celebrities, and then there are films. Yes, today I'm talking about the 10 films I consider to be terrible. Now, before I start the list, I'm gonna say this right now. You may already heard of these opinions from other critics or from other sites. Well, yes, I had the same opinion, and I personally agree. Also, if you do like these movies, then that's fine. Let's begin. At number 10 is Sherlock Gnomes. This movie is pretty bad. So they took the name of the character Sherlock Holmes and replaced the Holmes with gnomes. And yeah, Sherlock Gnomes is a pun. And you know what they did? They made an entire movie about it with the pun Sherlock Gnomes. This movie was pretty bad. The story is pretty bad, but the biggest problem is actually kind of unoriginal. It's used plenty of times before. Another problem what happens with this movie is that sometimes it can be mean spirited, like very mean spirited. Sometimes the characters can be total jerks. Also, the animation isn't really good enough. Sherlock Gnomes isn't. It's just a pretty bad movie, and I don't consider anyone watching it.
How a scroll fits its behind. Mankini, can you demonstrate?
Oh no no no! Number 9 is Venom. Yes, Venom was a very depressing film. Now when the trailers came out, it has gotten millions of views and it almost became one of the most viewed videos non-music. And then when people tried to go see this movie, they were pretty disappointed. I can tell because this movie was absolutely terrible. The biggest problem with this movie is the story. It's pretty bad. The characters, not so much. Also, the animation is noticeably bad. Another problem I have with this movie is that it tries to be creepy but fails. Also, the pacing is pretty poor in this one. There's even the character, right, which he is the worst character in its entire film because he's yet another CGI monster and he's not really interesting. If you take him out of the film, then the film will be still terrible. This film was pretty boring and was also very uninteresting. I didn't even watch the full movie because I got bored from watching it. Seriously, why is the CGI cartoonish? And also, why do the action scenes always take place at night? You, Venom is a black monster. You won't be able to see Venom that easily.
The one thing you hold most dear. You should be extremely afraid. What the hell are you? We are Venom.
At number 8 is The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. This movie was boring, very depressing. I don't even know the story of this movie. Actually, I forgot about the story because the story was very forgettable. Not only was the story forgettable, the characters were also forgettable as well. This movie wasn't really anything at all. I thought I was watching some sort of play instead of an actual cinematic fail movie film. Sorry, I don't have a script. The Nutcracker in the Four Realms is a gigantic mess that doesn't even no one wants to be. The biggest problem I have with this movie is that the writing is very cliched. Now, I know I probably already said this already, but cliches don't really matter as long as you do them right. Well, since the movie is so bad, I'm not gonna give it that excuse. Also, they didn't even portray the cliched well either. It there's a lot of more flaws, but this movie is so bad that you even find out flaws with the movie yourself. At number 7 is Lewis and the Aliens. Oh my god. This movie is terrible. Very bad. I'd rather watch The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, Venom, and Sherlock Gnomes instead of Lewis and the Aliens. Lewis and the Aliens is not really a fun movie to watch. Just like Venom, I have gotten very bored halfway through the movie. This movie was very boring. Not The movie is so boring that not even you can finish halfway the film. Also, I have no idea how this movie has a 6 on IMDb. I mean, I to me, if I run the IMDb page, then I'll give it a 4.9 or a 4.8 of how bad the movie is. Thank God I had a 26 on Rotten Tomatoes. Here are the problems. 1. The animation is incredibly ugly. Every single character looked like they came straight from a creepypasta. Another problem is that the plot attempts to rip off the film E.T., which was a better film than this. It's also very unoriginal and it's also cliched. Another problem, Lewis' father. Lewis' father is a very bad character. I really hate this character. He doesn't even give a care for his son. But we'll give him this. He at least is much better than Buck Cluck from Chicken Little. At number 6 is Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom. Oh my god, this movie is terrible. Like, I don't have to explain to you of why this movie is terrible. This movie sucks. It was so bad that I absolutely was cringing when I watched this movie. I will give it this. There are some elements which are pretty interesting, but still. Now, the problem with this movie are the animation for the dinosaurs. They are very bad. The animation is so bad. I cringed the first time I see the animation on the dinosaurs. Yet, they are very bad and the movements are very jerky. This film is absolutely a mess, and yet it doesn't even know what it wants to be. Please, just do not watch this film. Do not rent it at all. The plot is uninteresting, and the characters are boring. At number 5 is Solo: A Star Wars Story. My freaking god. Solo: A Star Wars movie has gotten many good reviews. It has like a 70 on Rotten Tomatoes and probably like a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. And I personally agree. Thank God it was an awful movies wiki. The ending is terrible. The characters were boring and awful and sometimes annoying. And the story was absolute terrible. This movie was just absolute terrible. Every time when I think about this movie, I always get an angry feeling in my chest or my back. Sometimes my back. Anyways, this film is terrible, and I don't recommend anyone seeing this film at all. Just the ending sucks. The ending is what ruined the film. And actually, no. The ending, the story, and the character didn't ruin the film. Everything else is just awful. You want that film was so bad that I don't think there's any redeeming qualities of the film whatsoever. Actually, the action scenes are okay, but it doesn't really save the movie at all. Number 8, 3 is Wrinkle in Time. I really hate how this movie tries so hard to be weird and wacky, but it fails miserably. Everything about this movie kind of fails or falls flat. The CG in 3D are boring. In fact, speaking of the CG in 3D, they're overused. There's way too many 3D and CG stuff. Not a problem. is that the characters are very paper thin, and the child acting is very poor. And also, not only the acting poor, it even makes the characters bad. The characters are very annoying and boring, and they have absolutely incredibly shallow personalities. And the story, it's not good enough either. And all the CGI effects, they're just plain bad. This movie is possibly the worst film made by Disney in 2018. It's not the worst Disney film. Well, I think Chicken Little, Aladdin 2019, The Lion King 2019, G-Force, and those Buddies films are the worst film from Disney. But this is the worst film from Disney of 2018. But I also think it's one of the worst films from Disney. I think that. At number two is the Dr. Seuss, The Grinch. Oh my god, I hate this movie with a passion. You know what? I hate this movie so much that I think it's one of the worst films from. Actually, the worst animated film. Actually, one of the worst animated films ever made. The story was bland. The characters were awful. We have what the problem I have with this movie are the characters. Let's start off with the Grinch. The Grinch is a very bland character. He is way too soft in this movie. His voice is uninteresting. It sounds like he's a bit angry and tired more than grouchy. Another problem I have with this movie is the story. The story is not the actual story from the original movie. Actually in the original book, the reason why Grinch wants to steal Christmas is because of all the greed. People are very greedy in Christmas. But for his story, oh please, don't know reason why he wants to steal Christmas because of his childhood drama. Are you that out of your mind? Are you that idiotic? You green, absolute, annoying moron? There's even the other characters. There is the dog, Max. He looks like a reject from The Circle of a Pet. There's even that Moose character, the comic relief, with absolute terrible. He's only there just for playing, just for laughs, and he doesn't even do anything in the film at all. And let's talk about the Who's. The Who's are awful. All of them are terrible. There's even the kid characters. You know, Stanley Lou's friends. They're pointless and they have no personality whatsoever. Oh, and Cindy Lou. Cindy Lou is probably the best character in this film because she's more likable. But in this film, she made her the main character, and I'm pretty sure that she gets more screen time than the Grinch. This movie was a mess, and you know what? I hate Illumination. I wish it was never a company in the first place. If I had a time machine, then I will stop Illumination from being a company. Screw Illumination. You will never be good, and you'll never impress me. Even your latest film, the sequel to Sick of a Pet, the film sucks. Screw Illumination. You suck. Fuck. I wish you never existed. Number one is Slender Man. You knew it would be here. This film has earned a lot of backlash just for how bad it is. And yet it is. But there is, yes, it steals elements from other horror films. The characters are boring and the story is bland. The environments are very bland. But the biggest problem with this movie is what is the trailer. Any detail what you see in this trailer never appears in the film at all. It was going to be a R-rated film, but decided to turn into a PG-13 because I don't know. They didn't even explain why it's going to be a PG-13 film. So all the stuff you see in the trailer is not in the movie at all, and you're excited for nothing. And you know what? But I will give it this. Sony is still better than Illumination because Illumination could just go screw itself. So yeah, Slenderman is the number one worst movie of all time. And oh, I wish Illumination dies.